to another episode. I must stop saying another episode because it is the current episode. We are the current review coming to you live on Central News. And we are talking Emfuleni Municipality today because we also, it was trending, especially when it comes to issues of salaries not being paid and also the issue with Eskom attaching its municipalities' 4 accounts, and they they don't even have access to do anything due to this attachment. And we heard from our previous interview that what the municipality actually is doing in order to sort out the situation. But currently, we're going to be speaking to Mr. Emfuleni from the SAMU, which is the union, the municipal South African Municipal Workers Union in the Gauteng region. And without wasting time of it, Mr. Emfuleni, how are you, sir?
No, thanks for having us.
Yeah. I saw that your municipality is facing some challenges, especially when it comes to issues with Eskom and the attachment of accounts, and that went and actually affected the municipality situation. And because you deal with employees now, because we saw yesterday there were protests, and what led to that and the current situation.
No, thanks, man. Maybe what we can then indicate is that, you see, the challenges between Emfuleni, local municipality, and Eskom started a number of years back. And ultimately, last year in December, Emfuleni's bank accounts were attached by Eskom. And as a result, workers could not be paid during December. They were then paid a number of days thereafter. So what then happened is that there was an understanding between Emfuleni local municipality and Eskom at that particular time in terms of how to resolve issues going forward. Now, amongst things that they agreed on was that Emfuleni must keep on paying its current account, and they will then be able to deal with the 8 billion as at that particular time, which was accumulating. So that was the understanding. But further to that, there was also an understanding between Emfuleni and Eskom that the big power consumers, big industries in Vanderbijl Park especially, and surrounding areas, will then pay directly to Eskom. Now, the understanding was that if that particular money doesn't cover all the current account, then Emfuleni local municipality was then expected to add up and ensure that indeed the outstanding balance is being paid to meet the issue of the current account. So that did not happen. There's been a number of engagement between Eskom and Emfuleni, and ultimately we ended up with Eskom from the 6th of September, giving an indication that they will then be attaching the account. So as a result of that particular attachment, workers were not then paid their salaries on the 25th of September 2024.
Now, doesn't that create fear when it comes to the employees? You mentioned the part of there was it happened at some time whereby the accounts were attached and the employees couldn't receive the income. So don't you think this current situation also raises fear because based on what happened the last time?
No, you see, we took it for granted as some that the agreements that were reached between the two entities will then be a lasting solution. We were caught by surprise actually by the fact that to learn that Emfuleni was not paying the current account as agreed. So what we hoping will then happen going forward is that we also have to take reasonable steps now going forward to ensure that this does not happen again. We have since engaged the Office of the Premier, the Office of the MEC for Finance and MEC for COGTA in Gauteng. That immediately after this matter is being resolved, we need a session yes, we will be led by also COSATU in that particular instance. We'll then meet all these particular ministers and the MECs and Eskom. Not necessarily Eskom, will then meet the two MECs together with the Premier to ensure that there is a lasting solution to this particular matter. We believe that there needs to be a decisive action from the side of provincial government to ensure that that particular municipality is stabilized and it discharges its responsibility in terms of service delivery, taking care of its own employees, paying all the relevant service providers so that we are able to keep on providing resources, rendering services to the residents of Emfuleni.
Now, to all the affected workers, the municipality, what is SAMO actually doing to actually assist them? Is there some of like relief that the union can actually assist the employees, Kappa? You have to wait for the municipality to clear the issues with Eskom?
No, normally when we're facing such challenges, the intervention for the union is twofold. One, we will then consider taking the legal route, like we did as a union in the Northern Cape when a number of municipalities, when Eskom wanted to take, to attach a number of accounts in municipal accounts in Northern Cape, we then had to take the legal route. Secondly, we engage both the municipality and also the provincial government, the relevant departments, so that they can then be, a political solution, but political solution in the sense of invoking your IGR processes. Remember that government has its own intergovernmental mechanisms of unlocking all the disputes between different arms of state. So we take that particular route. For example, in this particular instance, once we have engaged the premier will then be able to engage the minister responsible for Cogtine, the minister responsible for electricity, the minister responsible for finance. Is able to engage together with Eskom. They are able to engage at that particular level. They will then be able to bring their DGs, all of them. They will then be able to sit down and try to find an amicable solution. So those are the routes that we normally take as a union. It's either we take the legal route or we then take this IGR intervention processes.
Do you think that the steps that Eskom actually took were quite necessary? Because look, it's affecting people's lives right now. There's employees that are sitting there and they don't have any income. They've got debts to pay, they've got school fees, they've got transport to pay. But do you think those steps were totally necessary for Eskom to take with the municipality?
Now remember that as and when different arms of state sign agreements, they have their own understanding in terms of how to pay for services rendered. Such must then be respected. You see, for example, the municipality will always render services to its residents, and in turn will then expect residents to pay for those particular services that has been rendered. Equally, we also expect that the municipality, once Eskom has provided electricity for the municipality also has a responsibility to ensure that they pay for the services that have been rendered by Eskom. Now, in this particular instance, it's unfortunate that the disagreements between the two arms of state are now affecting us as employees and are also affecting us as residents. Actually, it should not have arrived at this particular point. We believe that interventions could have been done earlier. Both Eskom and the municipality should have engaged. They should have brought mediators so that all these particular matters can be resolved. It's becoming unfair to communities. Remember, imagine if the municipality has not paid the service provider for digging graves. I'm just giving an example. And that particular service provider decides not to go and dig those particular graves. What will then happen to the communities who are supposed to bury their loved ones and all those things? So we believe that this particular action is very unfair to us as employees of Emfuleni, and also as as the residents of Emfuleni. So we believe that there needs to be a better way of ensuring that as and when there are challenges between those particular two entities, something is being considered other than anything that will then affect us as employees. So remember that we have a contract with the municipality to say we will render services, we will provide our labor, and on this particular day, the municipality must then be able to pay for the labor that we have provided. So it becomes very unfair to us when that particular labor has been provided and the municipality is unable to do its part in ensuring that indeed we are paid for the services that we have rendered as employees.
It brings me to my other, you raised certain things that caught my attention there, but now here's my question. What are our leaders saying, especially when it comes to the municipality? I'm talking about the mayor, the municipal managers, the CFO, the top management that has to take responsibility to making sure that workers get paid, creditors get paid on time. And now we are sitting with a situation where nobody's being paid and accounts are being attached. And we keep on referring to the municipality Emfuleni, yes. But let's not forget, this is ran by people that are currently contracted, or let me use the word, employed by the municipality to make sure that things run smooth, systems are in place. What is your leadership saying in this stance? Because the workers are not happy. Eskom is not happy.
No, you'll know for a fact that, you see, the city manager or the municipal manager, once employed by council, becomes the accounting officer. He or she then has the responsibility to ensure that everything that has to do with that particular municipality is being done. And all his direct reportees, your senior managers, but the municipal manager must ensure that the senior managers also sign, performance agreements with him, where they commit themselves that they will then be able to discharge their responsibilities in line with their contract of employment and that as espousing that particular performance agreement. So our expectation is that our senior managers in municipalities have a responsibility to provide strategic leadership, including council led by the executive mayor. They have to provide political leadership and ensure that indeed they exercise oversight over the work that is being done by different departments in the municipality. So we believe that that particular thing has to be emphasized. But we believe that the provincial government also has a responsibility through COPTA to look at the performance of municipalities. You'll know that each and every month, and in some instances, each and every 3 months, municipalities will then provide reports to both COPTA and also to the provincial treasury. So what the provincial government is also expected to do is also to look at the trends in terms of whether these particular municipalities are paying whoever that is supposed to be paid. There is proper prioritization in terms of who gets paid, because in terms of our expectation, you then have to prioritize. For example, you have to prioritize Eskom, you have to prioritize Rent-Dota, you have to prioritize your own employees. So we must then be able to get that particular prioritization right. So our senior managers, including the accounting officer, the municipal manager, need to get that particular fact right. But we believe that we pose this unfortunate situation, we should then be able to invoke whatever is necessary to ensure that our senior managers are held accountable and they discharge their responsibilities in line with their performance agreements. Where, for example, there are shortfalls, there should be necessary interventions in terms of skilling, capacitation, and all those things to ensure that indeed the municipality functions in line with its constitutional obligations.
And it brings me to my other point. Your employees went on a protest because I was reading now one of the articles from other print bulletins, and it says that municipal employees are not happy at the fact that okay, they didn't get their salaries. And previously, we had a conversation with a spokesperson from the municipality, and he did touch on the issue of how the employees were protesting against the Eskom action and in freezing accounts. I want your take. I want to get it from you. Why were the employees protesting yesterday?
No. Actually, the dissatisfaction amongst employees is purely on the fact that the municipality has not paid their salaries. Now the other thing is that remember that we are employed by the municipality, so it is not Eskom which is paying our salaries. It's the municipality. So the dissatisfaction will then be directed to our employer in this particular instance, being the municipality. But the municipality must then be able to clarify to us to say, why is it becoming very difficult for them to pay those particular salaries? And they must then be able to convince us that they have done everything within their powers and within the law to ensure that they meet, and ensure that they pay your Eskom, your rent water, and all those things. But what we also normally do is that once there is this particular deadlock between the employer, in this case, your municipality and Eskom, we also need to bring the other party on board. But in most cases, we'll then be able to ask the provincial government to engage with Eskom. We will then be able to attend there so that we can then be able to raise our issues with Eskom. So that's how we normally deal with issues, because the first reference point in this case, when we are not paying salaries, cannot be Eskom, is the municipality. But as time goes on, we also request that we also be given an opportunity to engage with Eskom so that we can also appreciate the reasons why the attachment of the account. Because one of the things that we'll then be able to say in such engagements is to say, if there is this particular deadlock, can you please ensure that as and when you attach an account, workers' salaries, you uplift that particular attachment order, ensure that workers' salaries are being paid so that workers can continue to provide services to various communities. Remember that on daily basis, there is sewer spillage, there are potholes, we need to cut grass, we need to respond to electricity outages and all those things. So if you are not paid, sometimes it becomes very difficult for you to come. Let's say it becomes difficult for you to go to work to start with, because you don't even have money for transport. So we normally appeal to Eskom to say, or other, whether it's Eskom or rent water, to say, can you please uplift your, like they did in December, they uplifted their attachment order, and workers were then paid. So that is normally how we relate to Eskom and rent water in such instances.
But in closing, I just want to hear, especially from Samu's point, because such issues, especially when it comes to payment of salaries, they affect employees' morale. And you might find, or when you walk into certain offices, employees, they would, let me use the word, drag their feet, wouldn't want to do anything, would be off. Like today, let's say they didn't get payment and they chose not to go to the office. That affects us as a community. What is SAMU planning to do in terms of staff morale due to the fact that it affects so many people, especially when it comes to mental health?
No, thanks. Maybe let's also premise our submission on that particular one to indicate that, you see, recently we know that not only municipal workers, but most of the community and the citizens in this particular country are in a financial distress. Now imagine if you have been in that particular financial distress and you are not paid your salary. So if you are not paid your salary, it affects us in this way. For example, you have houses to pay, you have cars to pay, installments for you. we have to pay school fees for the kids. Imagine the schools has just reopened now, and these particular employees cannot even pay school transport for their kids to go to school. They can't pay school fees, so it really affects the morale of these particular employees. But you see, each and every municipality also has some internal arrangements in terms of employees who can then be able to respond to mental health challenges. You know that others can't take it. Others may even resort to suicide and all those things. So various municipalities across the province and also across the country will then have a department that deals with wellness, which aim is to ensure that indeed all those particular employees who are facing mental challenges are being dealt with. But maybe before you even move towards closure, we want to appreciate one thing. You see, the intervention by the Premier, the intervention by the MEC of Finance in this province, the MEC for COPTA, their intervention, also the Minister of Electricity, Minister of Treasury, Minister of COPTA, all those particular departments which came together to ensure that indeed all these particular matters are being dealt with. So what we're hoping will happen is that we're very positive that maybe as we speak now, the municipality would have signed an agreement with Eskom, an agency agreement with Eskom, which will then manage these particular matters going forward. And once that agency agreement is signed, they will then leave the account. So we're very hopeful that today, some of the workers might be paid their salaries later in the afternoon, others might be paid tomorrow, depending on the financial institution that they're using. So we appreciate all that particular engagement that has been done from that particular level. But we believe that we'll still have other engagements with our own municipality here, the leadership of the municipality, your mayor, your municipal manager, and especially with COPTA and treasurers, provincial, just to look at what are the issues that must then be dealt with. If we still owing Eskom, for example, 6 billion or 5 billion, what is the intention of what then becomes the intention of the municipality in paying all those particular outstanding, including the issue of the current account?
Mr. Mpho, I would like for us to leave it there, but it's a story that we'll keep an eye out on it and actually keep our viewers also in check when it comes to this particular issue. And I'd like to thank you for availing yourself and actually bringing us to light when it comes to this. And I hope all the best for you and your employees. And I hope they do get their payment on time and this matter get resolved as soon as possible.
No, thanks for giving us an opportunity to clarify matters from our perspective. Thanks.
And thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, that is Mr. Mpho Tladinyane, the Provincial Secretary for SAMU, which is the South African Municipalities Workers Union in Gauteng. And he did clarify how the employees feel. And I did emphasize in the beginning to say, hey, not being paid and you have to do your work is painful, especially come month end. Stresses a month end is quite hard. And mental health, given the current situation, it affects a lot of people. And I hope the situation gets resolved as soon as possible. And to all the workers out there that are going through that most, it helps to talk to your loved ones, inform them of the current situation, what's going on. Information, because we all have problems that we are dealing with. Talk about your situation so that you don't find yourself doing unnecessary things that will actually end up putting you into trouble. And on that situation, I want to say I'm going to end off this one. And actually, we're going to be getting into our final interview that is going to be taking place in the next few, whereby we'll be talking to a member from EFF in the Gauteng Provincial Legislature in about 5 minutes time. So don't go too far. Come back at 11:30 and we will be talking everything the abuse of there's something going on in the country right now that we'll be touching on. It's quite interesting. So tune in at 11:30, whereby we'll be talking to a member from EFF.